So Spurgeon was here in 1851, and his ministry was in a thatched dovecot.
Okay.
That was brought from Cottenham, which is about 3 miles away. And after he'd left, 10 years later, in 1863, that dovecot burnt down, and he commissioned this building, and this is a replica of the Metropolitan Tabernacle in London.
Okay.
And that's where his ministry became global throughout the next 40 years. But he came back here once a year to preach in this pulpit here. So he actually stood in this pulpit every year, came up for a day to spend with the people of Waterbeach. He never ever deserted the people of Waterbeach, even though he was preaching to between 8,000 and 10,000 people on a Sunday at the Metropolitan Tabernacle. That's really about it, yeah?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for sharing that.
In a nutshell.
So how old was he? I think he was 15 when
17.
he was 17.
Late
when he-
16, nearly 17.
Okay,
Yeah.
and were his parents Christians?
Yeah, his father and his grandfather were ministers.
Oh, okay.
But they were ministers in the Congregational Church.
Okay, so
Essex.
tell me what's the
Essex.
difference between congregational
Good
and...
question.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot, actually.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it was the first church really where the Christians actually governed the church. In other words,
And
it
that
came
was-
out of the Anglican Church.
And that's what the word congregational
Yeah.
means, that
Yeah.
the congregation had a part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then at 17, did he sort of like own his own faith, or did he make a commitment before that? Do you know?
He came to faith. He struggled for a long time, and at 16, he couldn't work it all out. He intellectually tried to work it all out, and he couldn't. When he was 16, because when he came here to preach, he'd only been a Christian about 9 months.
Okay. So
So
they
he's
allowed him without any theological
Yeah.
background.
But he was obviously gifted.
Of course, but nevertheless, those were the days where
Yeah.
you had to have the papers and go
Yeah.
through the business,
Yeah.
you know.
But
Okay.
he was in Colchester. His parents and his grandparents lived just outside Colchester.
Okay.
And he was in Colchester one Sunday morning, and the snow was really thick, and he couldn't get where he wanted to go. And as he was walking through
Remember reading
Colchester, he saw this little Methodist church, and he wandered into it, and the preacher didn't turn up because he couldn't get there because of the snow. And a chap got up just to say a few words. And Spurgeon went on years later to say that these were the only words he said because these were the only words he knew. But God spoke unto him. That the word was from Isaiah,
Right.
which was, "Look unto me and be saved." And when he said this, Spurgeon knew that God was speaking to him.
Okay.
And he just came to the Lord down and then. And
Wow.
that was the beginning of a transformation, because although he was brought up in the faith, none of it was real to him.
Yeah.
As obviously so many people that are not born again.
Yeah.
And he was born again that day, and just went
And
from
he
there.
he preached what I call a Pukka gospel, didn't he? The
Yeah.
whole remit. He
Pukka.
didn't-
Yeah,
he
love that
didn't
word.
leave bits out, did he? You
No.
know, like hell wasn't popular, and
No, he preached hell
and
down
judgment
Asian.
wasn't
Yeah.
popular, and all these things.
Yeah.
He preached it,
Yeah, he did.
and that's what got people saved, by preaching the word,
Yeah.
not by trying to tot it up or make
Yeah.
it look acceptable.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, the
why God
preachers of the
blessed
day
him.
didn't like him because he wasn't eloquent. And
Oh, okay.
no,
Because he looks at it, if you see his pictures, he looks like a gentleman who
Yeah.
would be educated and elegant and
Well, he was
eloquent.
educated. He was,
Oh, okay.
He had a good education.
Well, yeah.
Right.
But not a
Yeah.
university education.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a number of stories, you know, of how he didn't go to theological college.
Yeah.
But he actually had an appointment in Cambridge to meet a chap to go to a theological college, and they were both waiting for each other in different places, and so he didn't meet him, and then he was walking back over Midsummer Common to come back here, and God spoke to him there and told him that he would speak for him, you know, and that he didn't need to worry about that, you know.
A bit like Wigglesworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he went on, but he used a lot of agricultural metaphors to explain God's heart and God's movement upon people, which to the eloquent preachers of the day was poor taste.
Okay.
But
yeah.
it spoke to people's hearts.
Of course, a bit like
yeah.
Jesus, wasn't
Yeah.
it? He used the examples
Yeah.
of the day, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used, you know, agricultural examples
Yes.
like ploughing and all sorts of things, you know.
And do you know, is it documented that when he was here, was the place full or?
Yeah, there was 40 people when he came, which is about the same as it is today. And when he left, there was 400.
Wow. Within sort of a 2 or 3 year period.
Less than that, actually, less than
Okay.
2 years.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. And people were, you know, when he got here, this was a place of drunkards. There was people lying in the streets drunk.
seriously?
Yeah. And,
What, in Waterbeach?
yeah,
In the ditches and
yeah.
In ditches?
Yeah.
Was that through poverty?
well, they were on their
Or-
way to the fields. There was all
Yeah.
agricultural workers.
And of course,
Yeah.
alcohol was there.
Yeah.
Like we have bottled water, alcohol was there,
Yeah.
bottled water of the day, because
Yeah,
the water
yeah.
wasn't good, so
Yeah.
flip.
And but this particular church has, or village has quite history, quite heritage anyway, spiritual heritage, because a chap called John Berridge, which is probably 100 years before,
I think so.
about 100 years before, was an Anglican vicar over in a place called Everton, which is over near Sandy, in the Biggleswade area, Bedfordshire. And he became a Christian, became born again, and he used to get on his horse in Everton, which is probably about 25 miles away, and ride over to here and preach on this green out
Oh, on
here
the green.
Yeah. to people before they went to work at 6:30 in the morning. So you can imagine what time he left.
To get here for
Yeah.
6:30 on a horse.
And it just makes you wonder about Christians' commitment today.
Today, yeah, they moan if the service goes over an hour.
Whatever they moan
Yeah.
about. But
Yeah.
this guy was prepared to get on a horse at whatever time in the morning, 3:30, I don't know, to get over here for 6:30 to preach to people before they went out into the fields. To work.
Yeah.
So this church, this particular church, has had a chap like John Berridge. He virtually became pastor here, and then 100 years later, Spurgeon
Yes.
became pastor here. So this is a very strong non-conformist area.
Yes.
Fens.
Yeah.
That's why the church is as big as it is, because when he left there were 400.
Yeah.
So obviously 10 years later it was a similar sized congregation, so that's why they built
They could
A big
afford to
chapel.
build a
Yeah.
chapel.
to take everybody in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that when he arrived they were laying drunk in the ditches. When he left, he'd go past cottages at night and there'd be families singing hymns and reading the Bible.
Amen.
Oh, that must have been.
Yeah, in
Thrilled.
under 2 years.
Well, and
Amazing.
at that really young age.
Yeah. But he was a man, he wasn't always riding on the crest of the wave. Today he would probably be diagnosed as having bipolar.
Okay.
And he had great fits of depression
Okay.
as well.
And his wife, after the birth of their twins, was ill for the rest of her life.
She was what?
Ill for the rest of her life with some gynecological problem. But
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he had it.
Yeah.
And did he never as such in a way got healed of his depression? He
No.
would.
No.
Clutch
No.
room.
So that was a lot to hold together.
Yeah.
He had gout, didn't he?
And he
Gout.
actually founded 66 charities in London, one
Wow.
for every book of the Bible.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not commonly known, is it?
No.
You need to go.
I better go.
Yeah.
I've got an
Thank you
appointment.
ever so much.
Thank
Appointment
you.
at 10:30.
Yeah, she'll
God
not
bless
find into
you.
it.
Okay, I better go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
You
Take care.
too.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
care. See you soon. worship your holy name. I worship your holy name.
Ooh. You're much better than yesterday.
Yeah.
Picked it up so well. Yes, yes, nearly.
Nice. Good. Whoop. Got a dive for that one. Okay, you'll serve. 6 to beat.
You're giving Rowan a right challenge, you are.
Yes.
Oi!
Aiming for 7. There we go. Yes!
Oh wow! Yes, Manaia.
Rapid fire. Okay.
I'm really impressed because it was our first ever go on this, you know.
Yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah,
Progress.
definitely.